Hello and welcome back to the Art of Reduction. My name is Reeve Andrews and I'm going to be your barber today. For the last year and a half, we've been going over a mini series of different haircuts and what it's like being in a barber shop and what it's like being behind the chair. And today we're actually going to put all our tools aside and we're just going to talk about myself and who I am so you get know a little bit more about me and my history. So maybe when you're watching some of the future videos, you understand where my mindset's coming from. I'm 37 years old. I've been barbering since 2005, so almost 20 years in the industry. I've owned my own shop for almost 12 years now. But today we're going to talk about what it was like when I first started. I'm very blessed to grow up in a very small rural town. We didn't have any barber shop programs or anything like that in my school, though we did have a cosmetology program and something that they called C4, where you'd go to like your science, history, English, math classes during the beginning of the morning, and then we would drive or get shipped off to a cosmetology or trade school to learn some kind of a trade, either welding or building or even cosmetology or cooking as well. So for myself, when I was a sophomore in high school, I actually chose to go to the cosmetology program through my high school, which is a great opportunity. If you guys have that opportunity, if you're young and in high school and your high school offers an opportunity to go to a trade school, I'm telling you, college isn't for everyone. Having a trade in your back pocket that you could use the rest of your life to get you to all those steps is a great opportunity. So that's where I started from, was just being able to go to cosmetology school through high school. So when I graduated with my high school diploma, I actually had my cosmetology license as well. Even though I personally wanted to be a barber the whole time, this was my only opportunity to be able to get that paperwork for me to be allowed to get behind the chair and actually start cutting on clients, was through this program. So unfortunately, I wanted to be a barber. We did not have a barber program, so I had to learn cosmetology first, which I think a lot of you guys might understand. That was kind of hard for me. I didn't really know much about women's hair. I really didn't care about women's hair, though I needed to learn every aspect of women's hair, and long hair and curly hair and color hair and perms and manicures and pedicures, all this stuff before I even was able to get my hands into a barber chair opportunity and to be a barber and to work on men's hair cutting. So let's go back even farther. When I was 14 years old, I just wanted to play sports. I love sports. I played basketball, baseball, football were my main three. I was actually getting bigger and taller as more than my kids my grade, so I was actually starting to hit stronger, a little faster. I was really starting to bloom as a pretty good athlete, even in middle school. Unfortunately, when I was 14, I completely tore my ACL playing football in practice. It wasn't at a game where I was winning a championship through a touchdown and I tore my ACL, or recovering a fumble. Nope, it was just a normal practice, and my coach didn't even believe me that I was hurt, and I still had to walk all the way to my mom's shop, she was the hairstylist as I was growing up, about a half a mile on a freshly torn ACL before we even realized the severity of my injury. So I bet a lot of you might have been there where maybe something truly negative happened to you. Maybe it's a divorce, or in your family, or a car accident, or someone gets sick, or you get sick. That really kind of brings a negative to your life and who you are, even at a young age or an old age. It could happen at any time. But for 14, tearing your ACL completely was a big deal. I didn't hit my growth spurt yet, so even the doctors didn't know what kind of surgery to actually perform on me. I enjoyed sports. They didn't know if I was ever going to play sports again. This was back in like 1999, 2000, I believe. So imagine a 14-year-old Reeve having something stripped away from me. I love sports, and all of a sudden now I couldn't play. Okay, I grew up pretty poor. Yes, my mother was a hairstylist, though my father, he didn't make too much money in his career. My mother was actually kind of the breadwinner of the group as a cosmetologist. Not only was she the breadwinner, she was also just very prominent in our city, in our town. Everyone loved her. Everyone loved my mom. And she just had a lot of respect. And that's one thing I really enjoyed out of my mom, was just the respect that she had from the whole community. So fast forward, I was in 8th grade when I tore my ACL. Sophomore in high school was when I was able to, I realized sports are kind of out of the picture. I was gun shy, and maybe the universe or God pivoted me towards this new life into being behind the chair as a cosmetologist and a barber. So always remember when something negative happens to you, it's kind of like yin and yang, right? Negative has to have a positive, positive has to have a negative to really create something beautiful and for life to really work out. So I encourage you guys, when something negative does happen, please always, always look for the positive that could be lying around. So when I tore my ACL, very sad, very scary. But what did it do? It pushed me in the direction of hair. Okay, I wasn't going to myself go in that direction, though this situation pivoted me to go into a direction of cutting hair because I knew my parents couldn't help me with college. I knew I needed a job throughout college if I wanted to go after high school to be able to support my lifestyle and myself. I didn't want to be a bartender, and to me, I just thought maybe being a barber, cosmetologist would be the help that I need to get through college and to really help myself out. That's one thing I want to talk about now is like sometimes barbering, cosmetology, or maybe whatever you decide to do, you really maybe don't go look for it. Sometimes it naturally finds you. And that is beautiful. And that's very cool when that happens. Like I said, when I was 14, this happened. I was very negative, very sad, very stressed, depressed, used it as a reason to gain a lot of weight, stop working out. But all of a sudden, it pivoted me into this life of cosmetology and barbering. And all of a sudden, 20 years later, I get to be in this amazing studio and work with some amazing tools and models and put food on my table for my family and my kids that are coming in the near future and help now have multiple people working for me and putting food on their tables. So really, we always have to have faith that where we are now is not where we're going to be tomorrow or a year from now. The goal is not to go back, not to sidestep to a negative realm, but to move forward to an always like a positive realm. So just always know that when negatives happen, that we could always sing for a positive. So when I was in sophomore, I remember I had to go to cosmetology school instead of barbering, which again, I hated that. I did not want to do women's hair. I wanted to do men's hair. But just in my circumstance where I was in my life in a small rural school, did not offer a barber program, didn't really even have a barber shop in my town my whole time growing up. I really had to kind of force and go through that to get to where I am now. So always remember, you also have to pay your dues. Like it's not easy. Life and your dream that you want to create for yourself, it takes action, it takes planning, it takes consistency and commitment to really achieve these dreams and our goals that we have. Some of us, yes, will be handed on a silver platter to us, but I hate to tell you that even those people have to work hard to create something for themselves, for them to truly be happy with themselves as well, not just be handed something and be like, oh, I'm so happy because of this, but to be handed something and take it to the next level is what a lot of these people want to do. So, like I said, my whole career started on a negative with tearing my ACL at 14 to me being able to get through high school, started learning women's hair, started learning how to hold scissors, and more importantly, talk to clients, look at their energy, figure out who they are, what do they need from me as a stylist, not just hair cutting and styling wise, but personally, what do they need from me? Do they need motivation? Do they need someone just to listen to? Do they need someone to help guide them? Do they just need me to shut up and not say a word and just cut their hair? There's so many things as a client comes into your world that we need to kind of figure out who we need to be. I'm not going to lie, when I was as I graduated cosmetology school, that's when I was able to get into a salon and start working my way up the ladder into creating the life I wanted. So I needed to get that cosmetology license. As soon as I got the cosmetology license, my vision was men's hair. How do I get so busy doing men's hair that I never have to cut women's hair again? And so that's my from the initial. As soon as I got hired onto this salon, who was a women's salon, they did manicures, pedicures, colors, highlights, extensions, and then there I was, who just wanted to do men's hair. They had some men coming in, so I realized, like, listen, every man that comes through this door, I'm going to capture. I want that guy. The other girls were enjoying their color, enjoying their long scissor haircuts and layered haircuts. Really didn't want the men coming into this salon, but luckily me, that's what I wanted. And again, whatever negative is a positive. So as this was early 2000s and the world started to morph and change, where barbers were on one side of the fence, doing their barber thing, and cosmetology was over here doing cosmetology stuff, I was able to find the mixture of both. How do we blend the two together? How do we create cosmetology tops and barber sides? And that was my goal. How do I learn to do the fades and the tapers? But how do I learn how to do the really nice texture work with scissors on top or shears on top? And that's where my life really blossomed, was actually bringing the two together and creating one, like almost a new realm of haircutting, where we're doing clipper work half the haircut, then all of a sudden we're doing scissor and shear work the other half. I was just blessed to go through this rocky road of cosmetology, and then getting into a shop where I was the only guy doing men's haircutting and learning to do both. So that's where my life really blossomed, and that's what I want the art of reduction to always be about, is A, turning negatives into positives, and more importantly, creating barber-esque shapes and fades on the sides and blending it into cosmetology tops. And for a lot of you who've been watching these, you'd probably honestly say we've done a really great job at that. And more importantly, you guys are probably seeing more and more and more inside your shops this type of hair cutting, where it's tight sides, clipper work on the sides, a lot of scissor work, texture, shapes, movement on top. So as we go into depth on just more who I am and my stages of life, between from getting hurt and getting into cosmetology school in high school, getting out of high school, going into college, figuring out how to best win over my clients and my men clients, to then working there for 7.5 years under one shop, and then my transition from that one shop into me owning my own barbershop Bent. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you follow this little series that we're about to do about who I am and my energy and where I get a lot of my ideas from, I hope you just find yourself in me. We all go through struggles, we all have negatives in our life, but as humans, we get to breathe, we get to take those next steps forward, and we really hopefully get to find that next positive after some of the negatives that we have to go through. It's not an if that we're going to go through them. We are going to go through negatives in life, and it's up to us as humans, as people, to breathe, take those steps, and make it through the next day to really look for those positives. So I can't thank you guys enough for just listening to me. I can't thank Trailway Studios. I can't thank Henry Malone, Greg Mills, Gizmo, everyone who's a part of this beautiful backdrop and studio that we have. And we just want to just say thank you for watching, more importantly. And we hope you like this next series of just get a little in depth with myself and who I am, and just kind of putting down the tools for a second and not cutting hair, and realize like our lives a lot of time are behind the chair, but we also have a lot of life outside of the chair with our family, our friends, ourselves, our personal time that we need to focus on as well. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy some of the things we're about to speak on in this next couple episodes. And more importantly, we have a bunch of dates set up for haircuts throughout the whole year. So we should have a ton more content for you guys. So please like and share, and make sure you follow Malone Studios and Henry Malone for all this wonderful stuff we get to do here. So thank you so much. Keep cutting great hair, and thank you for watching The Art of Reduction.